Welcome to the Excellence with X podcast, where we connect you with excellence in the music industry. Today's guest, he won the South African Grammy when he was only 13 years old. He was the first non-white artist to be featured on South African radio or TV. He sings one of my favorite gospel songs, Falling in Love with Jesus. This guy is one of the most talented guitarists and singers walking this earth. Today's excellent guest is Jonathan Butler.
You've had a very successful career, of course, and I always think about, especially as musicians, I think about, our childhood and the things that really are embedded in our brains before we knew what the world was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. That influences us still today.
Yeah.
So, with you, what would you say from your upbringing was, the most impactful as far as your success as a musician today? What from your childhood?
From my childhood, oh man, I think the most, that
Could be a who or a what?
there could be there's a lot of things, but I think the one thing that made the biggest impact was singing, hearing music in my home. And my father, banjo player, guitarist, singer. My mother was a pianist and singer. My oldest brother was a jazz guitarist. I would say true jazz guitarist.
Okay.
But I think the greatest impact is listening to, is hearing them sing in harmony every night in the winter by the fire, outside. That's where we kept warm, because we were up in the shack, so we would make fires outside to keep warm and take the cold inside the shack to keep the shack warm. So music was a way that we kind of communicated, even though we didn't always communicate with each other in what we call communication. Music was the only way that we could communicate, really, and kind of corral each other and kind of know that we love each other. So that was the greatest impact for me, hearing that, and also hearing my own voice without singing it, but I could hear the harmonies to what they were singing. But I never wanted to sing in front of them, so I would sing by myself without wanting them to know that I can sing.
Really?
So I would be, kind of in the background, holding back until one day, a few guys from, gangs in our community, we would sing to them because they would give us money and, send us to the shops to buy some sodas and food. And so that's how one day one day I sang for my family, with them at the fire. And that's when it sparked the whole thing. My mother and my father saying, you gotta put him on stage.
So, you're telling me that your family was singing.
Yeah.
I just want to understand this. That y'all would go out, they would go outside.
Outside, yes.
And sing together in a group.
Yeah.
Just
By
your
the
dad,
fire.
your mom, and your brother.
Everybody.
And you would just be sitting there
I'd be sitting
afraid.
there knowing, shy.
So what made you?
I was more I was intimidated, of course, but I was also shy as a kid to sing.
So what made you? It's funny because the next question I'm gonna ask you is about your boldness. So
Yeah.
where did the confidence
Well,
come from?
it came from singing for, believe it or not, singing for the gangsters in our community. They actually love our family. They love music, so they love our family. They always said, hey man, sing us a song. So one day my brother and I was full, and I sang for these guys, and we knew the gangsters. We knew who they were. We grew up with some of them. And it was then that I started to really get more and more joyful about being with my family by the fire. And I just kind of chipped in and started singing along with everybody. And I have my granddaughters the same way. She would
Okay.
never sing for me. She would never sing in my home. Never. But in high school, she excelled in singing.
And what's your granddaughter's name?
Her name is Avia. She's 17 years old. And
Okay.
now she's not afraid to sing. She actually won, they won the championship in California as an a cappella group. She's incredible. I mean, she's outstanding. Matter of fact, she sang Elon Land. I did a new version of the song we just played today.
Okay.
And we did a new version, an Afrobeat version, and I asked her to background to me.
Okay.
And she was not shy. This was like a complete race to hear somebody that would not touch the piano, you know. And when my mother and father when my family discovered that, my mother and father used to have variety shows where they feature all of the siblings, in community halls. So my mother then introduced me as one of the singers in the family, in this community, all variety shows.
Okay.
And when I did that and sang in front of people, that's when I loved hearing the people's response. I mean, that kind of, the response from the people was something that ignited something in me. It made me feel like, oh my, you know, this is the most beautiful thing. And then, you know, if you're from Africa, people throw money on the stage. I picked up my money and I'm like, oh my God, this is, you know, I could go play with my friends the next day. And then everything started snowballing. My parents got offers for me to play in different places. And I started singing in different clubs, theaters, Malay choirs, carnivals, you know, won several trophies. I won like lots of trophies, first prize, you know.
And this was all locally,
and this,
right?
It's all local, yeah.
Okay.
So that's when, I mean, that was a huge, I think the impact comes from my family.
So those fires just sitting around.
Yeah, that fire was actually symbolic to everything I see. You know, because like I said, we had a different upbringing in terms of we were not taught, you know, how to really communicate with each other. But when it came to music, that's when we instantly kind of connected. So music was always that connected place.
This episode is sponsored by Jazz Out Loud, a nonprofit organization that upholds the historic and rhythmic nature of jazz. They support the development of emerging artists and promote socio-cultural causes through community engagement. They are intentional about creating a new generation of jazz artists, listeners, and supporters. Visit Official Jazz Out Loud on Instagram.
Excellence with X.